Hi, it's Janie with the League-Kempner House in Galveston. We're a nonprofit set up to restore and preserve this incredible house. This is the back view that y'all don't get very much. But I am here waiting on Heather, and it's already been quite the busy morning. I stopped by the welding shop where I had taken one of the roof vents. I am at GM Welding today. It's deceptive from the front, but it's a huge, big welding shop that goes way back here on 54th Street. It's a family-owned business, and I had dropped off one of our gable vents a couple of weeks ago, and I don't even remember if I gave them my phone number. So I stopped by to check on the work, and they've done a beautiful job on it and are going to deliver it to the house this morning, and they won't let me pay them. They've done it for free because they love the house. So I just love Galveston and the community. Back here, let me unhook the gate for you. Yeah, you don't want to trip with that thing. Just back there towards the garage. Just anywhere right here is fine. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now here's the other two that we did.
Oh, that's the old one?
Well, we have 3 of them total, so we took them to an auto body shop, and they... Okay. So we did something in the style of... From the ground, you won't be able to tell the difference. I added just a few little spot welds because this piece was loose, but you don't want it completely sealed up. Water needs to drain out. I still need to beat the dents out of the back, and we need to add some rivets around here. I'm not sure. This is the original spot welding, and I'm not sure that's sturdy enough. So Heather's not even here yet. I'm still having breakfast, and for once you're going to see us not dive feet first into something, or head first, whichever way you say it. We are going to pause when Heather gets here and very calmly read all the instructions on our coating system. So this system is something that John recommended highly because of this product, the rust preventative, which neutralizes, seals the rust, and then prepares the surface for some kind of a finish coat. So when I looked it up online, this manufacturer actually has this series of products. It has a cleaner degreaser, which I'm not sure we need, but why not? A metal prep, which actually removes some of the rust and does some etching of the surface. This is that neutralizer. And then this is a top coat that goes with the system, and it actually comes in a white, which is the color we need. So instead of doing some other paint, we're actually going to do their coating. And John thinks this will do all of them, that it goes pretty far. I'm not sure. This whole kit, I think it was around $170, which sounds like a lot, but given that these vents need to be up on the roof for the next 100 years, and we don't want any more damage from rust or corrosion, I think it's well worth it. I still need to beat the dents out of that one in the front. It had a big second piece of flashing over it where somebody tried to rig a baffle to stop it from leaking John took that off and actually used that piece of galvanized metal to do the patching. And the way it was on there, I could not get the mallet in to get those dents out. So now that the back is freed up, I can knock those dents out. So I'm going to just sit here and have breakfast while I wait for Heather. I didn't push the button.
Oh no.
Let me start over. Okay, Heather's here. We have a plan. We are going to drag some of our extra lumber over here and make a little platform and set these two guys up for her to work on the coating system. So she's in charge, since she's a professional, of reading the instructions and getting that figured out. But before she does that, we're going to put some lumber over here and drag that third one over and get it set up, and I'm going to work on stripping and water blasting. Let's get cracking. There was a homeless encampment on our porch the other day, so I need to put that in the trash.
So after we get done doing that diluted cleaner degreaser, this one is the etching, the metal prep etcher. It's a little unusual because we have to keep the surface wet for 20 minutes. So that means I guess we have to keep it applying for 20 minutes, and then you rinse it thoroughly with water, and then you have to let it be, because if you don't, it could like discolor the surface or something. But then it has to be bone dry. After we do this, the surface has to be bone dry before we go to the actual rust preventative step, which is basically like the primer.
Yeah, so we can clean it in the shade.
Yeah.
But then once we rinse it off, we'll have to pull it over here in the sun.
And then maybe if we can get all this done in the morning, then in the afternoon we can come get the rust preventative on. Now I need to read how long we have to wait before we go to the top coat portion of it.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm gonna get our platform set up.
Okay, so prolonged exposure to sunlight is possible. Top coating is not required for areas not exposed to sunlight. Oh, that's interesting.
Well, it's gonna be in the sun.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, these are cool. They're way bigger than
big.
They're way bigger.
How the paint came off this one different than that. So they're obviously painted differently at different times, but you can see the patch John put on here.
Yeah.
You know, to reinforce it. We need it strong.
There's a little bit of pitting in that.
That won't hurt anything. But we need it strong enough that hurricane doesn't blow it off.
Oh yeah. Well, and we just need to get them protected so that they last another 100 years before someone else has to take them down and redo it.
I don't know about this paint. Do you think that's?
Yeah, we'll have to get.
Maybe we need to hit it again.
We need to just scrape the rest of this loose stuff. See that? The rest of that off.
Get a scraper and work on that.
Yeah, we just need to finish scraping that off of there. No big.
I know you'll prep them.
Well, I mean, the prep is everything.
There's no point doing all this and having them be up there and then have the paint chip off or rust. And
I mean, at some point though, if the paint just does not want to come off and it's fighting you, just leave it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, if you've got loose pieces, we'll just scrape off what's loose.
Okay. Well,
that one looks like there's nothing really loose on it.
There's nothing loose on it.
So we'll just have a few loose pieces here, no big deal.
Okay.
And then we can get to degreasing it. And that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what happened. They walked right over it on the. Okay.
Over it. Yeah.
I get it. I see what happened.
Because
the way that it sits on the roof. It would have been like a little bridge.
Yeah.
It would have functioned like a little bridge on the roof, but then they just cratered it when they did it. Oh my gosh! Look how they clipped that so it would.
But see, this is where
Should be a metal worker.
See, these are not attached, so we need a lot more rivets.
They haven't worked on this one, or they
No,
have?
they worked on the front, but they didn't finish.
So it needs to go back.
So, well, we'll have to do that.
We will have to do this?
Bring the rivet.
Do we have a riveter?
Not here, but I can do it after it's painted.
Oh, you own one. Okay, here. Yeah, it's still bent, really bent bad.
So we'll have to put like a rivet in almost every one of those. Don't use your little hand.
Well, it's not that tough. Jeez. Boy, they did a number to it.
There. Okay.
That's better, but it's still bent.
Rivet that.
It's definitely better, but yeah, they really did a...
Okay, now I need to
flip it over? Okay. Yeah, like that one needs to be bent back, and it's interesting how they made it.
Pick it up and slide it. Okay.
How's that?
Good. Yeah, now I'll get the...
Yeah, that looks good how they put that little...
Sweat.
Oh, I know. Pretty soon...
No, smile, sweat, and repeat.
And repeat, yeah. Pretty soon I'm gonna have a drip. Yeah, I'll be wet on the front too. I'll get these gloves off. They're hot.
Everybody, man their station.
I'm gonna go do some paint scraping.
I'm going to scrape.
I'm gonna get. I need to find a bucket to put the degreaser in. And since we don't actually have a hot water heater, we're just trusting that I'm sure what comes out of the faucet first
Drag that hose out in the sun.
will be hot.
Drag it out in the sun and run a little water and then let it sit for 30 minutes. You'll be good. All right, Heather's been scraping away. What do you think?
On that one, I got pretty much everything off of that one that was loose. There's not really anything else that I can get off on that one. It's really adhered what's left. This one, I just wonder, it's weird how it's kind of was, I guess it was furry. Did you put stripper on this one?
I did because I pressure washed it and almost nothing came off.
So
so I put stripper on and it left that film.
Yeah, that's exactly, and also kind of like what I'm scraping off is like maybe like the residual chunks from the stripping, and so you know you can see those kind of built up. But it's almost like maybe this one had water-based paint or something on it, maybe at some point, because it really creates a barrier for strippers.
You know, if it's adhered well and not peeling and it's been through all that, it's probably okay.
It is. So I'm just getting the loose stuff off. You can see. I mean, you can see. Well,
the main thing is with that, and actually the front's not really rusted. I'm so tired. The rust is mostly here, so
which is fine because that rust treatment will
kill that, and we'll see what it does. You know, sometimes if you paint it on that,
it should convert the rust into like another chemical so that it doesn't rust anymore. Which
but that degreaser may pull some of that water-based paint off. So we'll just
It might. I need to just kind of dust all my loose debris off at this point. I'm pretty well done, and then let's put the degreaser on and see what happens. Yeah, see if it loosens anything else up, and then we'll drag them out into the sun.
Yeah, because this one over there is clearly painted more like this one. It had a couple of coats on it,
but we've come back.
But it came off relatively easy. There's some stuck parts.
And I did
come back here where it was stuck. You can see, and I put some stripper to see if it would come off all the way, and it didn't.
I got a lot of loose stuff off, all in these areas, and down in all these grooves.
Yeah, we could also bring the palm sander out and hit this with just a rough.
Yeah,
grit sandpaper.
We could if we wanted to do that. That might be.
But
not a bad idea. We're pretty. These are really close.
Opinion if it's stuck on there that good is probably going to come off.
Like you look at this spot here. I mean, I was working to like you have to really go to get it off.
Yeah.
That one will come off.
Like I said, this is in perfect shape with no rust, so
it's amazing.
I think that paint system will adhere.
Did this come from a specific side of the house?
I don't know.
You don't know where they came from?
They're all the same.
They're all exactly the same? Okay. Interesting.
Well, I say they're all the same. I say we'll measure them and make sure.
They're very cool. And is this the new weld here?
No, that's all old.
That's all old weld. Interesting. Very cool, though. I mean, they're beautiful.
The concept of them and how they work.
But
and aren't you glad we decided to go out to eat today?
Yes, because I want some air conditioning.
The thing about Galveston is nobody cares. It's a relaxed, wonderful community, and we could probably go anywhere, and people just know you've been working on your old house. So
pretty much. You've got paint all over you.
At this point, we've probably got 60 to 70 hours worth of time invested in getting the paint off of these things and getting them cleaned up, and we decided to hit it one more time with the sander just to make sure there's nothing loose that'll come off, and then we're going to get started with the coating. Heather's suiting up. Put your mask on.
I need the respirator just in case. I don't mind wearing a respirator.
We actually have them all over the house for anybody that ever wants one. I probably need to buy new
I've got several of them.
Filters and do a cleaning of them.
Probably.
Because this stuff had some pretty serious...
Can you hook the back of that for me? Can't do it now that I have the gloves on.
On the phone.
I did it in the wrong order of operation. Yeah, I should have done this before I put my gloves on. It wasn't very smart. This one's kind of broken, but I don't need to wear it for very long.
There, is that okay enough?
I'm missing the headpiece. Can this part be tightened, or is it just broken?
Just broken. No, wait, it can tighten in the front here.
There we go. Now it's on. Okay. Now we're good to go. All right. Off we go. Be careful not to splash this stuff on myself. I'm going to work from left to right.
I think we just have to get it on there and let it sit. So this is the degreaser, and this paint system is really for automotive work, and so this will like strip grease, oil, all the things you have in a car engine that we don't have here. But since it came together as a kit, we might as well use it just in case there's something on here that would keep the paint from adhering properly.
It recommended it in the instructions to use this.
So we're following all of the steps. Ooh, careful, and don't cut yourself on that.
Yeah,
edge can be sharp.
Follow all the paint instructions so that you get the good result.
You're going to come out as more on the video because of your respirator. Heather says it's always good to follow the instructions. And she's the professional, so that's why she's the one that read the instructions. So we're going to wash them, rinse them, let them dry. We'll probably go to lunch. Then we are going to use the second step, which is the rust converter / sealer. And that will be interesting because you have to keep it wet for 20 minutes. So my guess is we'll each take one, brush it on, and when we get to the end, come back and brush again. And we want to do that in the shade. Then that has to get bone dry. I think it didn't use the word bone dry. So after it dries some here, we're going to haul them out in the sun for about 20 minutes and let that finish doing its stuff before we try the top coat.
That's a pretty rare instruction.
That's a technical term.
Yeah.
And we were just commenting, I don't know if it showed up in the video, but the rust is mostly on the top. The face of these things is pretty good. I don't know if it was a different grade of metal, but we do want to stop it from rusting more. Even though they're decorative and don't have to be watertight, we don't want them to deteriorate any. So we're doing everything we can to prolong their life. My guess is we will only get the 2 done today because I still need to pressure wash and strip that other one. But at least we'll know the process. And if we get these 2 done today, maybe I can get that third one over there finished tomorrow. And then I still have one more that has to be assembled. It's in the basement. I'll get Heather to help me drag it out where I can see it and work on it. Now I'm really curious to see what it does on this one that has the different kind of paint on it.
I don't suspect we'll see it too much.
But you never know. We stripped and stripped and stripped on those windows and it had that weird gray primer. And then when I went to put the wood hardener on it, it just dissolved it instantly. And we had tried every kind of stripper and everything on it and nothing touched it. And then it just melted away with the epoxy. So there was something chemically about that affected the paint. So I was just curious, since this is such a caustic or whatever product. Didn't it also say if you left it on there it could actually start corroding the metal? So whatever it is, it's super heavy duty. And it's not bad in the shade. We do have a little bit of a breeze today when it's so oppressive and the heat index is so high, but it's not been as horrible as it could have been.
I'm not that uncomfortable.
Yeah, Heather says she's not that uncomfortable.
And I have gloves and a mask on.
So I was really actually dreading this because this is one of those things. Normally if we have something like this, we'll just wait until it's a good day to work on it. But we're under the gun to get this finished so that the roofers can come back. They should have our chimney caps fabricated by now and the gutters and be ready to go. So this is a one-day project and it all needs to go at once. So it would be nice in the next 2 weeks to get that up and finished because we need our gutter in, so we have our drain spout in, so we can do our grading and lay some pavers in that U-shaped area and get that finished off before some events we have coming up in October. So we are running out of time. All right, should I go get the hose?
Yep, I go get the hose and you're gonna do your price first.
All right, we didn't show a step. We painted on the etching rust neutralizer sealer step 2 of the prep. We tried to keep it wet for 20 minutes by rebrushing periodically. And then it says to rinse thoroughly and get bone dry. So we've set up a place in the garage in the sun to put these things so they can bake and get dry. And then we will, no wait, we haven't done the sealer yet. This is that's step 2. No, that's step 3. We've done step 2. Confusing. Step 2. We're going to put it in the garage, do step 3. When that cures, then we'll put the top coat on. But this step has to be thoroughly washed. The next one you don't wash, you just brush it on and leave it. I looked it up. This is the one that neutralizes the rust and basically kills it. Step 3 is a sealer that it says dries to a rock hard finish to prevent any moisture from contacting the metal, so no further rust develops. So this is actually the step that killed the rust and neutralized it. The next step is a permanent sealer, and the next step is a top coat over that to protect it from the UV rays.
What is the temp outside today? 100?
I don't know.
It's really hot.
Oh gosh. Heat index 110.
Heat index is 110. Okay.
So we have tried very hard to work in the shade, and it's miserable but not horrible.
The breeze is saving us.
The breeze is saving us.
Yeah.
But I tell you, right before lunch I was shaky and wasn't sure I could keep standing, and so we had a nice break at Shy Cats. We went to eat lunch, which is funny because we decided we'd eat out today since we're not doing tours, and we looked horrible. I had to change shirts. I was so bad. When you can go anywhere in Galveston, and I still had to change clothes, so it was that bad. But
yeah, you can look totally terrible, and they're nice to you in Galveston.
yes, they are. But we're now moving to phase 3.
Yes.
Which Heather's going to go over the instructions again. We've read them
Once or twice, yeah.
times. Here, spin your chair a little and speak to our friends.
So we're going to do next, we're letting the eyebrow pieces dry in the sun, because the other bottle gave an instruction of bone dry, which is not a technical term I've ever heard, but that's pretty funny.
I think that's actually 15 minutes in this heat in the sun.
Could be.
I think that
It could be.
bone dry.
This thing, I was laughing also about this instruction because it talks about seasoned metal surfaces, and it made me think about.
These are seasoned. They're pretty old.
It made me think about like a cast iron skillet that seasons. I thought, wonder what kind of seasonings they've been putting up there.
Baked in the sun. Yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah, so this thing we have to put 2 coats on of this. And I believe it's just going to be like dry? Touch. No, I think this is just sort of dry to touch, and then
before we can do the top coat.
Before we can do a second coat.
What about the top coat?
As far as the top coat goes,
and just FYI, we're not getting paid for using this
we're
product.
not.
This is our first time.
Yeah,
this is
we're just learning.
That John recommended that he has used a lot and likes. So, and he's a professional, as we've talked about, body repair shop for classic cars. So he really loves it. So
can be recoated or top coated when dry to the touch with a slight, in quotes, finger drag.
So we can do all of this
finger drag
today. So it's about.
I mean, it says typically 2 to 6 hours,
1:30.
but I think in what our conditions here, it's going to dry a whole lot faster than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
It's 1:30-ish, so if we give that 15 minutes or so to dry and then get
one coat.
By the time we get a coat on one and coat the other, it'll be time to come back and put the second, and then maybe wait 30-40 minutes.
Yep, and then we'll go with the top coat. And this is a gloss white, which all the trim on the house is going to be a white, but this will be fine. It's just up, it's way high.
I measured, it's like 70 feet
70 feet in the air? Oh my gosh,
one
this
of
roof
them
is so
you can't
high.
even see because you could only see it if you climbed on the roof of the apartments over there and looked this way. So it's not even visible. So really the one that shows is the one that's on the front of the house. And I'll get a roof diagram when they're ready to go up and show you guys. just where these things go.
It just wants you to dispense a portion into a separate container and then seal the can at once, keeping the lid and grooves clean. Do not paint out of can. So they're pretty specific. I always try to follow the instructions because you don't want to contaminate it.
Really super sealed, not to go bad. Then, because you probably don't paint out of the can because you'll drip in that edge and won't get a good seal. And it got a little damaged in
the shipping. This is not uncommon. It's a wonder it didn't break the can open. I've gotten plenty of shipments like this, and they've been, I'll have metallic paint all over the box, you know, or something from a broken can. I bet we can get at least the two.
If we get these two done, we may have to order another set of this to do the two.
To do the other two.
Oh, you know what? I should stir. We should have set the timer on your phone to know when 20.
Oh, we'll just go over there and test for bone dry. Because it's going to be, I mean, that's over there in the sun.
And I look always so lovely with my ginormous hat because of skin cancer. I'm not supposed to have any sun on my body, which
I prefer
I'm not real good
to.
about that. But I try real hard when I'm in the yard to have my hat and this is one of those
SPF shirts.
My husband's fishing.
Did you cut the?
I did because it was
too long.
Way,
okay.
And then now they hang.
Well, that was a really, really good cut job there.
So
it looks like your dog gnawed on it.
I like it because it's so big that air can blow up in there.
Look at the edge of it. It looks like the dog gnawed it.
It's about function.
I know.
Not beauty.
It was not a pair of sharp scissors, apparently. That's funny. I think this is good.
It might have been a box knife.
Who knows?
I don't know what.
I think this looks like a good system to me, though. I mean, I've never used it, so I mean, especially if it's for the automotive. But
my only fear
I don't see why not.
Because it's that kind of coating that they're careful not to reflex that metal or step on it because it might break that coating and then damage the seal. So when they move them up there, I'm going to have to be very explicit about instructions about handling of that and not standing on it.
Yeah, don't stand on them. It's not like the bridge.
No.
They've been treated like little bridges up there. Now, I will say on the front of this thing, it says, we know what permanent in caps means. We know what permanent means. So they're basically trying to tell us that this is a permanent finish.
It is. It's
so, I mean, that's great. It needs to be permanent because nobody's going up 70 feet on the roof to redo these. At least for probably 100 years.
Okay, we decided they were too dry and too hot in the sun. It was just scalding. So we put the little pop-up shade tent over. We're going to let them cool down for just a minute while we collect everything to do the painting. Okay, Heather just said something hysterically funny to me. She said she's going to try to be methodical. She's the most methodical person I've ever met.
I am.
In my life.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's saying something.
So this is the sealer rust stabilizer coat that's supposed to dry rock hard and be a permanent finish, but it still has to have the top coat to be UV protected.
Well, yes, because if we didn't, this would be quite ugly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be ugly.
We put them up on the roof like,
ugly.
We're done. Look how cute they are. Remember, we're trying to be less
hideous.
Less hideous. That's our
This
goal.
would be more hideous. But it says 2 coats. It doesn't have to cure all the way in between both coats, and it says it can take 2 to 6 hours to get to that tacky stage. But we're thinking in this heat, it'll be much less than that. But if we want to get this done and get the top coat on, we have to do it before it fully hardens. So I'm going to spend the night tonight so I can come back this evening before this is totally cured and put the top coat on. All right, girl, I got your Gatorade. You almost done with that one?
Yep, this last bit is this corner right here. And then I'm gonna
And then come sit.
take 5 and then
Take 20.
and then I'll go again.
We needed a big cloud today. We didn't get one. I thought we were. That is so stinky. It is like
It's bad, isn't it?
bad over here.
Yeah. I'm gonna be high as a kite.
What makes the work more fun? Makes-
I don't know what happened. I was just paint.
Been on a Gatorade run. decided iced tea isn't going to cut it. We've sweat so much we need some electrolytes. Alright, Heather left about an hour and a half ago. I've been down at the Lucas, laying on the floor in the air conditioning, resting. I set my timer, and these are dry to the touch but not hard. I can dent it with my fingernail. So it's just perfect for putting the top coat on. So I'm going to separate these a little bit and then go open the top coat and get to painting. Okay, I am going to try to get this canopy down by myself because I don't need it anymore. The sun has dropped low enough. We're in the shade. And I'm afraid if I try to take it down afterwards, I'll get it in the paint. So we'll see. I think the heat was really affecting the paint and causing it to go on way too thick. John described this as going on really thin, but it was not our experience. But remember, the actual temperature was almost 100. The heat index was 110 today, and I don't know about the paint, but I was really feeling it. The only thing that kept me going was just sheer willpower that these things had to get done. Once they got started, there was no way to stop. But this project has been a chore. Alright, so this is going to be interesting because I don't have enough paint left to finish. So you can see that one of them painted much better than the other. That's the one that had the paint we couldn't quite get off, so it had a little bit of a white undercoat to it. This is the one that was down to the bare metal. So I think I'm going to use the paint I have left to do the face of this one, because what will happen is now I'll have to order this. It'll take a few days to get it, and it will have cured, and then we'll have to sand it, put another coat on it. So this will be much more difficult to sand. Well, that did not work out to plan, but you can see how much better they look, and the patches just kind of disappear once it's all painted. You can't tell what was done, and certainly when you're way up high in the roof, you won't be able to see. So okay, that is it for today. We got a lot done. I'm very happy with the work we got done. At the same time, I'm a little disappointed. Just wish I had had more paint. I could have had these completely finished and curing. So now I'm gonna go online, order more paint, try to get it expedited, but it'll still be too late. This will have cured. We will have to sand it all down by hand and put that second coat of paint on. But I think they look really nice. I'm happy with how they're turning out, but it has been a long day and we are just so anxious to get them done. And actually I could care less about these going back up. They can go back anytime. They're just a decorative feature, but it's holding up getting our gutter on because they want to come back, the roofers, and do all the metal work at once, so they only have to rent the boom one time, which I appreciate because that boom is very expensive. So we need every component ready to go so they can come, use the boom, lift them up there and get it done. So I've still got one to clean and go through this process and one to assemble and go through this process. So hopefully by the end of next week we'll have it done and we can get that work scheduled. But for now, it has been a long, just brutal day. I'm going to go stand in a cold shower for a long time and go to bed. So we'll see you next time here at the League-Kempner House in Galveston, Texas. The cicadas are out.
Oh my gosh.
Their little bodies or exoskeletons are everywhere.
How do they do that? Do they shed it?
Have you never seen them?
No,
come
I've
out of
never
the
seen
ground?
it.
Oh, they're kind of cool. So the larvae fall to the ground and burrow in and stay for however many years for that.
Years?
Type. Yes. Some say 13 years, some say 7.
You're kidding.
It's a long time. And then they'll mature and they'll crawl up and they come out kind of soft and oozy, and they come out and crawl somewhere and dry, and that cracks open and they come out of that, and they take a few minutes and then they fly around.
I mean, I've seen these little little shells, but I've seen them like attached to buildings.
Yeah, because they climb up. They climb up.
Oh wow! 13 years. So maybe are there like the real big ones? That's a long time.
There's different kinds. So I just got back from
Boy, they're loud,
St.
aren't
Louis,
they?
and theirs have these big red eyes, and they look different than ours here. Ours come out every year because they're staggered.
Oh.
But you get up like.
Boy, they're
we
noisy.
went to North Carolina for my son-in-law's graduation, and they have the ones that come out every 13 years or something, and then there's another one that comes out every 7 years, and I'm making that up. I can't remember the exact years, so don't hold me to it. But every 100 years or whatever, it coincides in the same year. And it was so loud you could not talk. The sound.
It's pretty loud right here.
So many of them, and they were 2 different types, and you could see them everywhere.
Look on the side of the thing. I count 1, 2, 3, 4. I count 5 or 6 of them. I just looked over there, right on the side of right on the lower there. There they are, right there. Oh my gosh! They're all the bodies. So they've crawled up out of the ground and mounted themselves there.
Yeah, and then they come out of those shells.
Hey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool! I had no idea. Fun.